Howdy there, daylight burners. Happy Sunday or Monday morning if you're listening to it on audio only. Um, Been a crazy week. Seems like we've had a string of those crazy week, and I don't know what the hell's going on in the world anymore. Um, it's just been kind of weird. Before we get into it, I'll get my sponsor taken care of. You know about Loma Livestock, but let me tell you about them again. They're NHTC certified. Well, not certified. Not sure if they're what the term is for that. The NHTC sale barn. They're in Loma, Colorado, and they're located at 1369 12 and a half Road. And they got a sale going every Wednesday with cows and singles starting at 10 o'clock, followed by the feeders at 11. And if you'd like to consign, or you got any questions for them, give them a holler at 970-858-9988. Or you can check them out online at lomalivestock.com. But the best thing to do is just go check out a sale on the Wednesday. You might buy some cattle. You might sell some cattle. If not, just go watch them. If you see George, just let him know you heard about it on the Burning Daylight podcast. Anyway, so check them out, lomalivestock.com. Thanks, George. Thanks, Loma Livestock. So, first things first, we'll go a little further into this at a later date, but rest in peace, Joe Diffie. Apparently he got the COVID. I was unaware. That he was infected or had come down with it, whatever, but apparently he passed away today, so rest in peace, Joe Diffie. He was one of the good ones. I sure liked him. But like I said, we're going to do, I think we're going to just do a Joe Diffie tribute show on Tuesday evening. We'll go live and we'll go some more into that. So anyways, rest in peace, Joe. The original pickup man. Boy, this, I don't know what to think about this coronavirus deal. Like we're kind of in limbo, kind of halfway locked down, halfway not. The economy is kind of like creeping along, and it seems like there's like New York is really kind of taking a turn for the worse, and you're seeing a lot more cases of or confirmed cases pop up. Apparently, we've got more confirmed cases than China had, so like just under 100,000, something like that. But we don't have near the death rate that China does or did, or Italy currently does. So I don't know where the hell this thing is going. I don't know, other than, I'm not one to follow government guidelines, but I do think this like social distancing thing, I think it's a good idea. Keep your distance. I kind of like to keep people at arm's length anyways, but keep your distance, wash your hands, and don't cough on anybody. Try not to let anybody cough on you. All that good shit, the stuff you're supposed to do every flu season anyhow. But that's really about all you can do. You can't control what anybody else does. You can't control what they're going to do. And you can't control a damn virus. You can kind of mitigate it. We pretty well got rid of the polio virus, but that's because we vaccinated against it. The virus itself didn't go anywhere. People just built up an immunity to it from this vaccine. So you're not getting rid of the COVID-19 coronavirus. But the more people that get it, could be good, could be bad, but the more people that get it, the more people that will recover from it, and therefore the number of people that are immune to this particular strain are going to increase. So I don't know. I think the best thing you can do is tell the folks that are most at risk, that being the folks over 65 and those with underlying health conditions, respiratory problems, high blood pressure, diabetes, all that all that good stuff, the stuff that makes you at risk for just about any other viral disease or something along those lines. So those people that are at risk, advise them heavily to um, stay home, kind of self quarantine a little bit till this thing kind of dies down and runs its course. So I don't know. You see like several different states, New York and California in particular, but hell, even Texas, uh, just really shutting stuff down, just closing that bitch all the way down. And that seems like they take another more drastic step every day, and it just seems crazy. I was on we did a, I guess, a virtual birthday party for my buddy Eric, one of my good college buddies. Um, and like those guys, they all live in Denver. Most of them that were on that call they live close to downtown Denver, like, or in just like right downtown Denver. And like they are kind of just quarantined. A lot of them are considered essential businesses or essential workers, so they're still allowed to go to work. But if not, you're just cooped up in your apartment, and you can go out for a walk and whatnot, but for the most part they just kind of make you stay home. And no, it just seems weird because not a whole lot has changed on my end. There's been a shortage of toilet paper, and all but one of the places here in town have shut down. I guess the bar still is doing takeout food, but other than that, it's just like the little convenience store, small grocery store that we got down at the end of the road. So really, the only thing open as far as like food stuff goes, I guess I imagine the parts house, the hardware store is open, but no, it's weird. So we've had some kind of slight inconveniences, but other than that, life just plugs right along. We got cows to take care of, so I go to work when it's my day to go to work, and if not, I do kind of what I always have been doing. So I haven't noticed a whole bunch of change, but I've been following, kind of the situation in the cities pretty closely, and it just seems kind of weird, and especially after talking to my friends there in Denver, and then I guess my buddy Jake in Detroit. I don't know how quarantined he is, but yeah, it just seems a little weird, and I just don't know what to make of it. I'm still under the impression that we're kind of way overreacting in this thing. Not that it's not a serious problem, because obviously while the numbers I don't think the numbers show it out to be a huge like global crisis like they're making it out to be. I also don't think it's anything to sneeze at, pun intended, I guess. Um, it's just, man, I don't know. Seems like there's got to be a little bit of a middle ground in here from where we're at to where we're going. Like I said, the numbers keep going up as far as recorded cases, but the death rate is starting to shrink, and it's starting to look a little more, at least from my perspective, it's starting to look a little bit more every day like this was around for significant period of time longer than what we had thought, and that there's a lot more people that have had it than people originally thought. So meaning that it's kind of pretty well run its course. It might not quite have hit the peak yet, but it doesn't seem like it's the like cataclysmic deal like they're talking. But then the Fauci or Fossey, however you say his name, the National Institute of Health guy, said today in an interview that it could be like 100 to 200,000 people dead in the U.S. So I don't know. Seems I don't know what to make of it other than just be careful and try not to let it ruin your life. Yeesh. I don't know. It's a weird deal. I know none of us has ever experienced it before, but I don't know quite what to make of it. But um, I've kind of got a little bit of flack in the comments, not a ton here lately with some of my posts, but I've been ripping the Republicans pretty hard on the response to this, mostly because um, most generally I'm registered Republican to vote, uh, and that's simply because they typically have the most reasonable candidates on the ballot. So that's typically where I'm registered. I need to switch my back to probably independent, but I registered Democrat at the moment because I had planned on voting in the caucus, but I was not. I was one of those young people that didn't turn out to vote for Bernie. So uh, anyhow, but anyway, I typically vote for the Republican candidate. I by and large kind of agree with the platforms that the Republican Party says they're for. Um, and so therefore when they pull stuff like this where it just gives a huge amount of power to the government and spend a ton of money, I will call them out particularly hard because they campaign, every term they campaign exactly the opposite of that. They campaign on scaling back government and getting the fiscal house in order, balancing the budget, blah 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 blah. And what you've seen since this outbreak is nothing but executive orders, seizing power, directing the private businesses to switch their operation, which I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I'm opposed to the government mandating it. And uh and then now you've got a 2.2 trillion dollar bailout, stimulus as they call it, but it's a bailout, so it's bailing out the airlines. It's a bunch of money going to the banks. They've already sent a bunch of money to the banks. And then of that 2.2 trillion, about 2 billion or 200 billion of it. So the 0.2 part is what will get paid out as a direct payment to actual taxpayers. And this is a Republican plan pushed forward by the Republicans. Same, and most Republicans threw a bunch of heat at the Democrats for holding it up and trying to slip other stuff in. But regardless, they're still pushing for $2.2 trillion in extra funding to provide a stimulus to the economy, or basically just a bailout. And so it's in just 100% reversal of what the Republican Party runs on. And I don't know. So I hit him pretty hard on that, but I think it's important because we found out real quick that we're on pretty shaky ground with the economy. It didn't take a whole lot, and we're in pretty tough shape. The stock market's down, cattle markets are down, and the highest number of unemployment claims in a single month or a week or whatever the metric was, but it's like the record high. So pretty shaky ground as far as the economy goes, even though it looked pretty good before this all hit. It didn't take much for it to get all out of whack. And so then they keep pumping all this money back in, and it's not real money. The Federal Reserve just kind of they call it a cash injection. Uh, but there's nothing that backs that cash. It's all they don't even print money anymore. They just add zeros to the end of a line on a balance sheet, and there you can only do so much of that before the currency just becomes absolutely worthless, and that's when you get the situations like in the Weimar Republic, Germany, right between World War One and World War Two, when you see them taking a wagon load of Deutschmarks to go buy a loaf of bread, or the same thing that happened down in Venezuela, where the same thing, they're burning the cash money for heat in the winter, because that's about all it's worth. Is worth about the paper that it's printed on, and that's it. And we're headed towards that. The more and more money that they pump into this thing, and I haven't looked very hard into the stimulus thing, but it's the on its face it says $2.2 trillion, and but from what I've read a little bit on it is the way that the Federal Reserve can shift around money and whatnot and loan out, it's going to be worst case scenario closer to like 6 trillion, and that's a time and a half of the entire federal budget. And I don't know what that is as a percentage of the entire economy, but that's a huge chunk. And man, that's a scary thought. That could put us in a very bad depression, and could end up almost collapsing the economy. And that's not a good thought to think. I don't think we're quite that bad yet, but oof, it's I don't know, once you start reading some of the events that led up to the Great Depression, there's a lot of similarities there. And and back then it was the Dust Bowl that kicked it off. Not so much a viral outbreak like we have right now, but like I said, it's still very, very similar type of deal. So I don't know. I think it'd be a good time for everybody to start learning how to be self-sufficient, and maybe grow a little garden, and tend some stock, and get a little more in touch with their food supply, because it might get real scarce in the near futures. I don't see that happening necessarily. I just think it wouldn't be a bad idea to be prepared. You don't have to go full underground bunker, something I might do, but it wouldn't be good to have a little extra food, and have a few extra skills with your hands to get by if something does happen. Uh, it's a weird time, and I try to tune out a lot of the news, because it just is all bad. Try to filter through some alternative news sites, I guess, that maybe give you a little better idea of what's going on. But it's just it's a weird time, and they they've got basically the whole country on lockdown. We're in the middle of a presidential race, and they haven't heard anything from the two Democratic candidates still left in it, and Trump, for the most part, he is backed off of any campaigning, and just kind of focused on this coronavirus deal, and he's campaigning for that, but not necessarily out on the campaign trail, and it's weird. It might be kind of good, get a break from the constant presidential race. It seems like, it's 2020 now, but it seems like they've already been running this race for a decade, and we don't even have a clear candidate in on the Democratic side yet, but and then it just comes to a screeching halt, and then it's, from that, your news cycle just goes to nonstop coronavirus coverage, and they've, what Andrew Cuomo's been doing in New York, because New York City's now become like the epicenter, as they're calling it, of the outbreak. And well, it seems like they're really trying to push that Andrew Cuomo down our throats. I I was flipping through the news this morning, and there was like four different headlines about Andrew Cuomo just right in a row, and what a good job he was doing fighting back against Trump or something or whatever. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to think of that, other than maybe they're just using him for the moment, because he hates Trump, and he's not afraid to get in the media to get a little attention, and they're always looking for a way to bash Trump. So it might just be a mutual benefit deal, or I don't know if they're like trying to float him out there as a possible candidate. Because a lot of the shows that I listen to, they go from anywhere from pretty left leaning to like anarchist libertarian, but also quite a few like pretty solid conservative type people in there, and every single one of them says Joe Biden is a joke. Like, there's no way he's going to win. And even if he does win, that it's just kind of scary, because he doesn't seem to have his wits about him at all. And that's kind of what I thought. And then you see these, like Super Tuesday election in particular, and then everyone after that, where Biden just pretty well cleaned up, just clean house on Bernie. And so like it sure looks like Biden's the guy, and man, that just that's a sad state of affairs for the Democratic Party. And I just, so anytime you see like any other guy that getting a whole bunch of attention, or at least when I see somebody like Andrew Cuomo getting a whole bunch of headlines at one time, we're like, well, why are they trying to get my attention to him? And I don't know. And it could be like they're just testing the waters, seeing what people think of him. But it seems like everybody that they try to shove down your throat is just terrible. And they did it with O'Rourke. They did it with Kamala Harris. They tried it with Elizabeth Warren. They're trying it with Biden, and now it seems like Andrew Cuomo. And they're all just awful. You'd think they'd be able to find somebody just slightly likable, but yeah, I don't know. It's a weird time, and I don't know. I'd be curious to hear what everybody's thoughts are. So, if you got any crazy ideas, or what's your insight on what's going on, I'd be happy to hear them and possibly talk them over with you, because I'm kind of at a wit's end with what the hell is going on here. It's weird. I don't know what to think of it, and I don't know where the hell the world's going. So, in the meantime, we'll just I still got cows to take care of. I got horses to ride, and people got to eat, and people like to eat beef. So, for the time being, I'm pretty well set. So I don't think this whole thing, it might have to tighten the belt every now and then, but for the most part, regardless of unless the economy just completely collapses, I think I'll be all right going forward. And if not, I've got enough options. I could probably make do with something, get by. So I'm not gonna read a whole lot into it. I'm just gonna kind of see where things go, and I'll insert my opinion as we cross each different bridge. I don't know where it goes, but I'm not one shy from telling you my opinion. So if something seems fishy, I'll talk about it. And until then, we'll just kind of have to roll with the punches. We're gonna get back to some more cowboy content as much as we can, and I'll keep you up to date with my thoughts on this crazy time we're living in. So that's kind of what the plan is going from there. We'll have Kate back on later this week, I think, and on Tuesday evening we're going to go live with Sam McHugh. Might have Robbie and Thad jump on too. We'll see what they got going on. And then Wednesday evening, Sam is going to go live from his basement to put on a little live show for you. So go check it out over on his Facebook page. But that's all I got going for you tonight. So y'all be safe. Don't cough on anybody. Wash your hands. And save room for Jesus. So on that note, go find me on social medias. I'm Matt McKinley on Facebook, at MakerMac85 on Twitter and Instagram. Show page is Burning Daylight on Facebook and YouTube. If you don't already, please hit subscribe on YouTube with the notification bell. It'll let you know when we go live. And at Move Your Ass on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Check out the website, burning-daylight.com. If you're in Western Colorado, go check out Loma Livestock on Wednesdays, see how the sale's going. And other than that, move your ass. We're burning daylight.